How We Use Wool by Elizabeth Wells. Wool. Wool is a kind of soft fiber or material. People use wool to make clothes, blankets, and other things. Wool is thick and strong. Wool keeps people warm when the weather is cold. Something made out of wool is called woolen. When the wind blows, you might wear a woolen scarf. Woolen scarf. Woolen sweater. Woolen hat. Warm clothes. Wool is good for making many kinds of clothes. There are woolen hats. There are woolen sweaters. There are woolen socks. You can even wear a woolen coat or woolen pants. People started using wool to make clothes a long time ago. Fleece. Cutting fleece. People make wool from the fleece or hair of animals. Usually, people use fleece from sheep to make wool. Farmers wait until the sheep's fleece grows long and thick. The farmers use special sharpening tools to get ready to cut the sheep's fleece. When the fleece is long enough, farmers cut it off. It is like cutting a person's hair. Farmer. Fleece. Wool. Combing wool. Next, people wash the wool. They must take out any small pieces of dirt that are stuck inside the wool. Then they must comb the wool to smooth it out. Long ago, people used special wooden tools to comb wool. Now big machines comb wool. But some people still like to comb wool by hand. Yarn. Making yarn. After people comb the wool, they pull it into long strands. Then they make yarn by spinning or twisting the strands. Some people spin wool into yarn by hand. They use a spinning wheel to spin wool into yarn. But most of the time, big machines in factories do this work. Cloth. Machine. Making cloth. Machines can also make yarn into cloth. A special dye is used to make the yarn colorful. Then machines weave the yarn into cloth. This cloth is used for making clothes, such as scarves, socks, and hats. Sheep. Kinds of sheep. Most wool comes from sheep. There are sheep in the United States. There are also sheep all over the world. Not all sheep are the same. There are different kinds of sheep, and they make different kinds of wool. Merino sheep. One kind of sheep is the merino sheep. This sheep comes from Spain. A merino sheep has a white coat that is very thick. Merino wool is very soft and pretty. People like to wear clothes made from merino wool. Cashmere goat. Cashmere goats. Some special kinds of wool do not come from a sheep. Cashmere wool comes from cashmere goats. People need to use fleece from many goats just to make one sweater. Cashmere wool is very soft and very warm. The softness of cashmere cannot be duplicated. Angora rabbit. Angora rabbits. There is another kind of wool that does not come from a sheep. Angora wool comes from Angora rabbits. This wool is soft and fluffy. People who wear Angora wool sometimes say it feels delicious. Most Angora wool comes from rabbits in the countries of France and England. Angora goat. Angora goats. People also make wool from Angora goats. This kind of wool is called mohair. Angora goats have curly fleece. Most Angora wool comes from goats in the countries of Turkey and the United States. It comes from African countries too. Alpacas. Alpacas. Alpacas have soft wool too. Alpacas are animals that live mostly in the country of Peru. There are two kinds of alpacas. One kind of alpaca has long, smooth hair. The other kind of alpaca has short, rough hair. Clothes made from alpaca wool can keep people dry when it rains or snows. Woolen socks. Amazing wool. Long ago, people started to use wool to make clothes. At first, people made clothes by hand. Then people made machines to do this work. Today, people still use wool to make many clothes. People also use wool to make carpets and blankets. Wool is amazing. Responding. Target skill. Conclusions. What animals does wool come from? Copy the chart. Add details from the book that show what animals wool comes from. Write about it. Text to text. This book tells how to make wool. Think of another book you read that tells how to make something. Write a few sentences giving instructions on how to make that thing. Target vocabulary. Delicious. Duplicated. Dye. Sharpening. Spinning. Strands. Weave. Yarn. Target skill. Conclusions. Use details to figure out more about the text. Target strategy. Summarize. Stop to tell important ideas as you read. Genre. Informational text gives facts about a topic.